Alright, on this episode, I'm going to clean down the chassis. Sorry about the dog barking, of course, neighbours. Sorry, so anyways, we're going to clean up this chassis, inspect it, and have a bit of a look. I've degreased the back half of it, but I'll degrease the front end when I'm ready to pull the motor out. But for now, we'll clean the whole lot with the gurney, and then we'll, sort out the rest, pull the motor, and inspect the chassis. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm the one to get it, bruh. I swear to God I'll get it, bruh. Hey, I ain't never giving up. Yeah, I never give up. I got this, man, I got it. I will not quit, I'm on it. Never rock it. Got the block lit, I'm toxic. Spitting logic, make them nauseous. Honest, can I stop this? Never cautious, drop it. I'm the hardest. Knock, knock, bitch, watch it. I'm the fucking king of rock, bitch. Poppin', spitting hot shit. I'm dropping, chronic. I think I'm motherfucking lost it.
Alright, so anyways, that's probably going to wrap it up for this episode. I'm sure you guys don't want to sit there watching me just sand it and clean up a chassis. So I'll do that. But while I'm doing that, I'm also going to start pimping out the engine. So by the time you've watched this, I've already ordered like lines for it, like copper line. I'm going to order that so we can start making them to the oil canister and stuff like that. I'll buy some paint so we can clean up the block, and we'll start getting that ready. Maybe even try to make some ignition leads like that I want to make out of copper pipe so it still looks steampunk. We'll see how they go. So that'll probably be in the next episode. We'll start pimping out and steampunking the engine since it runs, and we'll go from there. All right. I'm pretty sure Glenn's brewing another episode up on the Morris. I bought some new tools, so we'll do an episode on that. And I bought some parts for the Commodore that are all here now. So when that's all done and dusted, I will film that too. So there's a lot coming on, and everything like that. The truck just passed Rego again, so I'm getting the supercharger and all the gear for that ready to go. So when I do start that, we can just have at it. All right. So like, subscribe, and share. We greatly appreciate it. And stay tuned. So, we've got the 350 Morris, we've got the twin turboed big block Commodore, and the Dodge. So, then there'll be a supercharged 1UZ Hilux. So, a lot coming up. All right, guys, be good. Like, subscribe, and share. All right, so if you guys had seen from the last episode, here's the chassis that I pulled out. You can see I've degreased the back half of it and the diff and everything like that. So now we will gurney this thing down and see if we can inspect it for damage, all sorts of stuff. So I'm not fussed on the engine. I know that's locked up. It's mostly the box that I'm after, and see if the chassis is in good nick, the diff's in good nick. We'll have a look at some of the suspension components, make sure that's in good nick, and everything like that. And then we will see what we do and don't need and go from there. Make a list, and so now it's just a matter of cleaning it.
Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab it, then take it. Like
So, alright, quick time lapse of me undoing all this.
Retro.
Alright, so I've moved the chassis underneath, but it's not exactly in line with the crane. So I'm going to have to move the Commodore back, which means I'm going to have to move the Dodge engine back, which means I'm going to have to clean up the front of my shed. So I'll do that, and then we'll push everything back and try and get this engine out. Alright, so I've moved everything back. Now I've got this hooked up to the crane. I've got my support leg down, and we will see if we can get this thing to lift. I've got the mount bolts out and the radiator supports out. The bolts are still in the gearbox, but the nuts are off them, so it might take a bit of wiggling. Got the clutch assembly undone, ready to go. Took the plate off the other side, and as far as I can tell, there's nothing else hooked up to this. So we will slide this out now and see. Alright, there we go. Out. It's so much easier with this crane now. I'm so glad I installed it, but yeah. That's the engine and box out. So really the only thing I need is the box. So I'll separate the two, put the box aside for now until we're ready to sort that out. But we will hook into this chassis now, and we'll take all the suspension off. I want to take the springs out and see how far down the front we'll sit. So we might do that once I take all the lines and the clutch assemblies and that off. We'll leave the diff and the front end on, but I'll try and get the springs out, and then we can see how low this will go. So time to start stripping. I've started stripping this down a bit off camera. So I've got the shocks off the back. I've got the lines out. You can see there's no brake line there anymore. The fuel line's off. I've taken some of the plating off on the front, so that one there and this one here, took them off. And I tried to give it a bit of a gurney down and everything like that. So now I'm going to lift the diff up, and I'm going to drop these leaf springs and everything, and then I'll roll the diff back under it, and we'll sit it on its bump stops and see how low this is going to go. So, and then after that, I'm going to undo the front control arms. I'll pop the springs out, and we'll sit that down too, and we'll see how low we can get this thing. See if it comes anywhere close to the ground. But yeah, that'll give us a rough idea. Plus, not only that, I mean, once we drop it down, we can put a straight edge in here and see how far we're going to be from the body and everything. So we'll get some measurements, and then yeah. So here's a time lapse of me undoing all that, and then we'll take some measurements. Alright, so unfortunately my camera died while I was separating the diff and springs and that, but I've got this sitting down to where it'll be, which is basically on the bump stops. So you can see here in the front, it's sitting on the lower bump stop there on both sides. Had to take the sway bar out. And then I've got it sitting on the rear bump stops. I've got the front of the diff propped up for just to hold it there for me so it doesn't roll around and move around in that. So if you was like, it looks really good the way it's sitting. Like they're bigger wheels. Those are 14s, which is what I have for this chassis. They're 16, so they're bigger. So the front sits a little higher. Plus I can also change the control arms to drop it another inch and a half, which I'll probably do. But you can see by my beer can, because I've just knocked off work, you can see by my beer can the height of the chassis. Now the body comes about another inch lower than that the whole way around. So everything seems to be pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how that's sitting. So yeah, once I bag it and everything like that, it should be all right. The bag's crush rate is 3-inch. So from the line I scored in the chassis there, it's 3.5-inch. So there's a 1/2 inch of play. So I've just got to see if the bags have a bump stop built into them. The fronts though, because the springs seems to sit inside the chassis. So this plate here that you can see is where the spring sits. But you can cut that and put it underneath, or plate underneath. So what I might do is I might make a bracket to hold the spring while I go for the blue slip and everything, and then I can just lift it up, take it all out, put the bags in, bolt them all in, and be done. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get this registered with its normal suspension, and then I'll just make it so the airbag suspension bolts in and out, essentially. But yeah, that's how the chassis is sitting at the moment. I'll try and get down low for you. So it's high, but it's like still technically legal. 100 mil is what you get. That beer can's 130, so I'm about 110 off the ground. So when I build the exhaust and everything, I'll try and keep it tucked into the chassis and that. So even at its lowest point, it could still be legal. Yeah. So now I'm just going to strip the rest of the chassis down. I'll take all the front end off, the steering box off. I did buy a sandblaster, so that's all going to help out. And yeah, we can start cleaning up this stuff and getting the chassis ready, brake lines and stuff. And then we'll do the diff and get it all put back together. So I'll strip the rest of this down. All right, so there you have it. Front end stripped down. I tried to gurney this off, but it's really thick stuff, so I'm gonna have to get some petrol on that to reveal the cracks. You can see it's there. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Plus the other one that's here. So I'll clean all that up with petrol and clean it down. Take the sway bar off, obviously, and then yeah, I'll start sanding this and cleaning it up and painting it and getting it ready to start making brake lines and that. So that's how the chassis is. Alright, so anyways, that's probably going to wrap it up for this episode. I'm sure you guys don't want to sit there watching me just sand it and clean up a chassis. So I'll do that. But while I'm doing that, I'm also going to start pimping out the engine. So by the time you've watched this, I've already ordered like lines for it, like copper line. I'm going to order that so we can start making them to the oil canister and stuff like that. I'll buy some paint so we can clean up the block, and yeah, we'll start getting that ready. Maybe even try to make some ignition leads like that I want to make out of copper pipe so it still looks steampunk. We'll see how they go. So that'll probably be in the next episode. We'll start pimping out and steampunking the engine since it runs, and we'll go from there. All right. I'm pretty sure Glenn's brewing another episode up on the Morris. I bought some new tools, so we'll do an episode on that. And I bought some parts for the Commodore that are all here now. So when that's all done and dusted, I will film that too. So there's a lot coming on, and everything like that. The truck just passed Rego again, so I'm getting the supercharger and all the gear for that ready to go. So when I do start that, we can just have at it. All right. So like, subscribe, and share. We greatly appreciate it, and stay tuned. So we've got the 350 Morris, we've got the twin turboed big block Commodore, and the Dodge. So yeah, then there'll be a supercharged 1UZ Hilux. So a lot coming up. All right, guys, be good. Like, subscribe, and share.